Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here. I hope you're all doing well. Now a quick message before I get into the rest of this video. A massive 95% of all traffic to the channel is not subscribed. It would be amazing if some of those of you that are viewing the videos could give me a quick sub. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it would put a massive smile on my face. Thank you to those of you that have subscribed and those of you that are going to do so. Anyway, we've got a lot to get through in this video. I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. I watched the recent podcast which was done by a community of streamers and had Nikita on as a special guest, and I've tried to do things in sort of chronological order, and I've basically done the best that I can with this, but I will put a link down in the description below to the actual full podcast if you want to go and watch that and get every juicy detail out of it. But I've picked out pretty much what I think is the most important stuff from what we're going to get going forward with Escape from Tarkov. So the very first thing that I've got to start off with is the sound of rain. It's been a bone of contention for the community recently. There's been a lot of periods of rain in the game, a lot of people complaining that it's too loud, although I do see a lot of people saying that they like it hides your footsteps, etc., but also it hides the enemy's footsteps, so you're kind of not really gaining anything. But a lot of people complaining that it's too loud, so Battlestate have said that they are going to decrease the sound. This will be the 6th time that the rain sound has been decreased. They say that it does seem to last a long time, but it actually only lasts for around an hour and a half typically, and there were around 3 bouts of it per day every 24 hours. So for those of you that have been getting it quite a lot, you've basically just been very unlucky. So, but they said they are looking at it, they're going to decrease the sound again, and hopefully that will please everybody. Say about the server hardware that has been updated this past week. They've done this to provide a more stable in-game experience, although they are experiencing attacks on the servers, DDoS and things like that on a daily basis. They're doing their best to minimise these, but obviously it's a hard thing to sort of deal with, and it has been what has been causing some of the downtime with the game recently. They did reveal that some of the servers though are running at 120 tick rate. If you don't know what a tick rate is, it's basically the amount of times per second that the server refreshes itself. Obviously the higher the tick rate the better. They say that the game can support the 120 tick rate, but due to some issues that have arisen, which they didn't go into details about, they've had to dial it back a little bit. But they're looking at including a dynamic tick rate, so eventually most servers should run at a very high tick rate, but obviously it'll be dependent on the people that are joining it and that, and it will sort of try and find the best tick rate to give everybody the best experience. They've said that there's 25 new devs have joined the company since the start of the year, and we're only just into March, so they've bolstered the staff very well. I did say in a recent video we saw a lot of pictures of the studio, and it looked like that pretty much everybody was back in the studio, but they've said that's not the case. Only roughly 20% of staff are back in the studio, the rest are still working remotely, but it seems as though that's not hindering development of the game too much. Then we get into the patch news. The next patch is going to be 12.10. There is no release date for this one, but I would assume that it's going to be coming within the next month or so. They say that this patch is currently in testing. This is internal testing. Once it's done with internal testing, it will then move over to the ETS testing. But Nikita said that he will do a dev blog when that time comes and give us more details of what's going to be coming in this patch. But they do say it's more a quality of life driven patch than anything else. It will have some content in. We're going to be getting some new guns and armor, but the vast majority will be bug fixes and optimizations and the usual quality of life stuff. But we will be getting Steam audio in this patch. Now Steam audio was removed not too long ago, wasn't working too well, it wasn't working the way that BSG wanted it to work, but they've now done a little bit of work with it, and I think Valve have been involved with them as well to get this working right, and they're now ready to include it back into the game. Also with 12.10 we will be getting at least 2 confirmed guns. We will be getting the PL-15 pistol, which is a 9x19 pistol, and we're going to get be getting the STM-9 AR-15 rifle, which is chambered with 9mm, and it will be compatible with Glock mags, the same as what the Vector is. It looks a really nice gun. Apparently it's meant to be very accurate. A lot of people maybe don't like the fact that it's 9mm, but you know, we'll give it a go, see what happens. Then we moved on to 12.11 news. This is going to be a very big patch. Again, no release date for this one yet. This will include a sizable factory expansion, which we knew was on the cards, and it will also at the same time include the new factory boss. Now, there's no idea what the factory boss will look like, but Nikita does say that he's going to be a big guy and he's going to carry a hammer. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, when you look at character models in Escape from Tarkov, they're all pretty much the same size. So it's going to be interesting to see just how much bigger this character model is and what it looks like. I'm guessing that a hammer is going to be his melee weapon. Will he actually have a gun? We don't know yet. He could just have a lot of minions that have guns, and then he could just be really, really handy with a hammer. We'll have to wait and see. But also with 12.11, that will move us over to Unity 2019. This has been on the cards for quite a while. I think this was something that was looked at being included with patch 12.8 all those months ago, but it's not quite ready yet, so it will be included with 12.11. And then we looked at some things that will be coming to the game. This is beyond 12.11. These are all the things where we really have no date on them. Some of them are sort of pie in the sky things, and you know, we might never see them, but I think the majority of them are things that Nikita really wants to get added into the game, so we'll see what happens with them. They're looking at new mechanics, so body dragging and being able to med teammates is something that they're looking at. They're also looking at PMCs being affected by the environment around them. So for instance, if you're next to a door when it gets breached, your PMC would stumble back and things like that. At the moment, if you hit with a door, it tends to maybe just nudge you, but there's no like sizable difference in how your character moves. You just moved along on the floor. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that, a little bit more realism into it. They're also looking at a low and high ready position for guns. Now currently your character just carries the gun in front of them. They're looking at adding a stamina to this so that you will be able to lower your gun down, which will obviously result in losing no stamina. But when you raise the gun getting ready to hip fire, it will start to have a stamina drain. Now currently we have 2 staminas in the game. It looks as though we're going to have a third, or maybe the arm stamina will be split for this mechanic, but this is something that's in the works and it doesn't look as though it's going to come to the game anytime soon, but it is planned. Nikita also spoke about weapons within the game. He said that they have got lots of guns ready to go and lots in the pipeline, and he said very soon we will have twice as many guns in the game as what we've had now. So it'd be interesting to see what guns are going to come to the game, and I've said it a lot of times, I just want to see the double barrel shotgun. I really want to see that added to the game, so hopefully that'll be one that's coming. But yeah, they're going to increase the amount of guns significantly. Then the conversation got onto Streets of Tarkov. Nikita said that he hopes it will release by the end of the year, but as other people have said in their videos, that kind of sounds like they're not too hopeful that it will release by the end of the year. But I have to echo the sentiments of a lot of other people that are reporting on this. I want them to make Streets of Tarkov a very good map. So if that means that we've got to wait, I am happy with that, and I think a lot of other people would be as well. I don't want them to hash out a half-assed map. I want them, you know, to get this map as right as possible. So it says in the meantime they are looking to do a teaser of Streets of Tarkov. They're going to have a new one ready to go in the future at some point. They've also said that in the meantime, building up to Streets of Tarkov, they may release a map to bridge the gap between what we've got now and Streets of Tarkov releasing. Nikita spoke about Lighthouse being released. Now this is one map that there's been very little talk on. All the time I've been following Tarkov, there's been very little chatter about this map, but this is one that they're looking at maybe releasing between now and Streets of Tarkov coming out. But it could be that they might just rely on expansions of current maps. Obviously we've had Customs, we've had Woods, we're going to get Factory, maybe some of the others may get expansions, we'll have to wait and see, or we may get a totally new map in Lighthouse. Nikita said new storyline quests are being added to the game as we speak, internally tested. They will go out to the ETS servers sometime soon, so hopefully we're going to get some story driven quests put in the game. It'd be nice to have some new quests, because the current ones, it kind of gets stale every time you do a wipe doing the same kind of quests. So it'd be nice to have something else put into the game that we can aim for, and obviously something that gives us a bit of background to the whole Escape from Tarkov sort of universe. Nikita spoke about a streamer mode being included into the game at some point. This will give streamers the ability to hide their names, raid code, and possibly their ping. Nikita said that he's open to suggestions suggestions as to what else could be added to a streamer mode. So this is one of those things where some people might complain about this sort of streamers getting preferential treatment, but I really don't see it like that. It just gives them the ability to sort of kind of hide themselves away from the things such as stream sniping and people sending them friend requests over and over again. So I can see the benefits of it, but I can also see that some people might see it as preferential treatment, and we might end up with that whole argument of, you know, casual gamers versus hardcore gamers. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that one. And then Nikita spoke about the Black Division. He was asked about this a couple of times, and he simply says that it doesn't exist. It isn't a thing. But he also still denies that cultists exist in the game, and they do actually exist in the game. They've been seen, people have fought them, so we'll have to see where it goes with the Black Division, but I'm looking forward to having them added in the game. Now, some people have said that the Black Division will be sort of something that you can strive to become within the game depending on what level you reach in the game, and other people have said that this is simply a new scav faction that will come into the game. So we'll just again have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. And that was pretty much all of sort of the juicy bits from this podcast. There are going to be some more official dev podcasts coming, which will give us a lot more information along the way. But I have to say, looking at what's going to be included with patch 12.11, obviously you're going to get a sizable expansion to factory, a new boss, the move to Unity 2019, and looking at the timeline that we're at the moment, I think obviously 12.10 is next, but I think that could be a month or so away yet. And once you start to get towards sort of May, June time, you're going to be hitting that 6-month point since a wipe. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 12.11 will be accompanied by a wipe. Maybe. Don't quote me on that, don't hold me to that, but I think the move to Unity 2019 is big. Adding the factory expansion, adding a new boss, and of course there'll be new guns and armor and things like that added in. So I think 12.11 might be at the point where we wipe in the middle of the year. But again, like I say, don't quote me. That's just me looking at the timeline and thinking that maybe that's how things could work. And that is pretty much it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. As I said at the beginning, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It would put a massive smile on my face. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay safe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.